Good morning, boys and girls. This is lesson 31 homework. Please make sure you're on page 151. The first question says to estimate and then divide. An example has been done for you. So right here we have 78 and 4 tenths, or 784 tenths, and 7 tenths are being divided. And after they divided, they decided to use tenths in order to have a whole number. So when they divided by or multiplied by 10, you get 784 divided by 7, which gives you 112. They did their division over here. So we have 784 divided by 7. And the final answer is 112. So that's what you're going to do for all of the other problems. You're going to make sure to estimate and then divide. So over here, we estimated 61 and 6 tenths divided by 8 tenths. So we changed it to a number that is easier to divide. So a factor of 8 is going to be 64. So it changed from 616 to 640. And when you estimate that, you know that 640 divided by 8 is equal to 8. So that means that our answer is going to be around 8. It's not going to be precisely 8, but it's around 8. And the reason why they're doing this is because when you're dividing with decimals, you want to have a number that is around that number. So you want to be getting a number like 800, right? Okay. So we're going to do the actual part, which is 61 and 6 tenths divided by 8 tenths. So that means that I'm going to multiply times 10 because they are both in the tenths place. So that's why we are multiplying times 10 because they're both in the tenths place. Now we have 616. When you multiply 600 or 61 and 6 tenths times 10, you're going to get 616. And when you multiply 8 tenths times 10, you're going to get 8. So now we have 616 divided by 8. We're going to solve that over here. So we have 616, which is the number that is our dividend, and our divisor is going to be 8. 8 goes into 61 7 times. 8 times 7 is equal to 56. 56 or 61 minus 56 is equal to 5. Bring down your 6. 8 can go into 56 7 times. 56 minus 56 is equal to 0. So your final answer is 77. No remainder. For problem B, we have the same situation. First, we're going to estimate. So we're predicting what the number could possibly be. We have 5 and 74 hundredths divided by 7 tenths. So if we were to change 574, we would change it to about 56 because 7 is a factor of 56. So 56 divided by 7 is estimated to be around 8. Okay, so now we're going to solve. We have 5 and 74 hundredths, and we have 7 tenths. In this case, they decided to use tenths. You could have also used hundreds to get a number that is a whole number rather than a fraction or decimal, which is fine. So if you use tenths, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get 5 and 74 when you multiply times 10, and then you're going to get 7 as your denominator. So what you end up having here is going to be 8.2 because 7 can go into 57 8 times. 7 times 8 is 56. 7 minus 6 is 1. Bring down your 4. 7 can go into 14 2 times. 14 minus 14 is equal to 0. Don't forget to bring up your decimal, and your final answer is 8 and 2 tenths. Okay? Now, again, remember this is our dividend, the number that goes inside, and our divisor is the 7, which is the number that goes on the outside that you divided. And we decided to multiply times 10 over 10, which is what makes it a decimal rather than a whole number like this one. If we use hundreds, because this 4 is in the hundreds place, then you would have 82. Okay, now part 2, they ask you to estimate and then divide as well. They said that an example has been done for you. So this is the example you can look at. And it is the same as what we were doing at the top, except for this time you're using numbers that are larger. If you notice, they use 100 over 100, and that's what we're going to do here too. So we have 4 and 74 hundredths divided by 6 hundredths. And when you get that, you get 480 divided by 6, because 474 is close to 480, and 6 is a factor of 48. So 48 divided by 6 is equal to 8. Bring down your 0, you get an estimation around 80. So now we're going to multiply and see if that's correct. We're multiplying times 100 because if you notice, the 4 and the 6 are in the hundredths place for the decimal. So by doing that, you're going to get a whole number rather than a decimal like earlier. So we're multiplying 100 times 100, and you're going to get 474 divided by 6. So now we're going to divide. 474 is considered our dividend, and 6 is going to be our divisor. Let me highlight that so you can see. And 100 over 100 is the number that we multiplied with. So we know that 6 can go into 42 7 times. 47 minus 42 is equal to 5. Bring down your 4. 6 can go into 54 9 times. 54 minus 54 is equal to 0. So our final answer is 79. On this side, we have 19 and 44 hundredths divided by 54 hundredths. First, they're estimating to see and to make sure that their number is close to that. So 19.44 was changed to 200, and 0.54 was changed to 5. I know that 200 divided by 5 is equal to 40, so our answer would be around 40. So if you look here, they multiply times 100 because the last digit, if you see here, this 4 and this 4 are both in the hundreds place. I should highlight this so you guys know that where the hundreds coming from. I'm getting it from the numbers that I see because I want to change it into a number that is not a decimal. So when I multiply that, I get 1,944 over 54. So I am going to divide. 1,944 is going to be my dividend, and 54 is my divisor. 54 can go into 194 3 times. 54 times 3 is 162. 4 minus 2 is 2. 9 minus 6 is 3. Bring down your 4. 54 can go into 54 can go into 324 6 times. So 324 minus 324 is 0. So our final answer is 36. Now we're going to turn the page. And for this part, they ask you to solve using the standard algorithm, which is division, right? So they're asking you to divide normally without estimation. And then they ask you to use a thought bubble to show your thinking as you rename the divisor as a whole. They want you to use a thought bubble so you understand where the decimals are coming from. So when you are solving decimals, you know also where they're supposed to go. So right here we have 38 and 4 tenths. Notice that this is in the tenths place, and the 6 is also in the tenths place. So that means that I am multiplying both of them in the tenths. So I'm going to write right here times 10 times 10 so that you know. And when you do that, you get 384 divided by 6. So 384 is going to be my dividend, and 6 is my divisor. 6 can go into 38 6 times. 6 times 6 is 36. 8 minus 6 is 2. Bring down your 4. 6 can go into 24 4 times. So we get 24 minus 24 is equal to 0. So our final answer is 64. Over here we have 7 and 52 hundredths divided by 8 hundredths. So what I have here, I wrote it all down, and I'm going to be multiplying times, let me show you, times 100. So right here we multiply times 100 times 100. So you get 752 divided by 8. 8 can go into 75 9 times. 8 times 9 is 72. 5 minus 2 is 3. Bring down your 2. 8 can go into 32 4 times. 32 minus 32 is 0. So we get 94. Over here we have 12.45 or 12 and 45 hundredths divided by 5 tenths. This one I would multiply either by 10 or by 100. That is up to you. In this case, I multiplied times 10, but you could have also done 100. So that's why I have a decimal here, because I didn't multiply it times 100. So I have 124 and 5/10 divided by 5. So I know that 5 can go into, 12.45 is my dividend. And my divisor is going to be 5. Making sure that I'm putting this decimal in the right place. So if I'm multiplying times 10, then my decimal should move over 1 time. So it would be 124. I don't know why I put it right here. Sorry. It goes right here. This decimal doesn't erase. Oh, there you go. Okay. We have 5 can go into 12 2 times. 5 times 2 is 10. 12 minus 10 is 2. Bring down your 4. 5 can go into 24 4 times. 5 times 4 is 20. 4 minus 0 is equal to 4. Bring down your 5. 5 can go into 45 9 times. 45 minus 45 is 0. Don't forget to bring up your decimal. So your final answer is 24 and 9/10. Over here, we have 56/10 divided by 16. And what I decided to do is I decided to multiply this times 100. So times 100 times 100. So 56 times 100, or 5.6 times 100, is 560. And 0.6, let me show you. I'm going to highlight the 6 because that's what we decided to do. We multiplied in the hundreds place. So this 10 is because of this 5/10, so we multiplied here. Let me just highlight that so you guys can see it better. There you go. Okay. So we have 560 divided by 16. Remember that 560 is the dividend and 16 is going to be our divisor. This one should be orange, sorry. So I have 16 can go into 56 3 times. 16 times 3 is 48. 56 minus 48 is equal to 8 because 16 minus 8 is 8. Bring down your 0. 16 can go into 85 times. So we have 80 minus 80 is equal to 0. So we have 35 as our final answer. Over here, the question says, Lucia is making 21 and 6 centimeter beaded string to hang in the windows. She decided to put a green bead every 0.4 centimeters and purple bead every 0.6 centimeters. How many green beads and how many purple beads will she need? So over here, I have 21.6 divided by 0.4. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to be dividing by, or multiplying times 10, because it looks like the numbers are in the tens place, so that works out. So when I multiply that, I get 216 divided by 4. And now when I divide, I get 54 green beads. On this side, I'm doing the same thing. I notice that we have both of them in the tens place, so I'm multiplying times 10. So I have 21 and 6 times 10 over 10. So what we get is 36 purple beads. So this one is 36 purple beads. This one is 54 green beads. For the final answer, we have a group of 14 friends collect 0.7 pounds of blueberries and decides to make blueberry muffins. They put 0.05 pounds of berries in each muffin. How many muffins can they make if they use all the blueberries they collected? So we know that altogether was, excuse me, we know that altogether was 0.7 pounds. So that's what we're dividing by. And we know that they put 0.05 pounds of berries in each muffin. So that's where I'm getting 0.05. Now I'm dividing those two numbers, and I'm going to multiply times 100 because I noticed that the 5 is in the hundreds place. You could have done the tenths if you wanted to, but in this case, I'm doing 100. And when I multiply that, I get 70 divided by 5. 70 divided by 5 is equal to 14 muffins, and that is my final answer. Let me know if you have any questions in class.